Julie, do the thing.
Hello.
Hello.
Hopefully you can hear us. If you can, then the app worked.
Yay.
Hey, everybody.
I feel like we should, somebody said that we should put like a fire on the TV and just have like a fireside chat.
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking about that.
We can light the TV on fire.
I actually had a fire like all set, ready to go. And then I was like, but I also kind of like having the AskLRR thing up there.
Mm-hmm.
What about a flaming AskLRR?
How's it going, chat? This is a fun, an experiment, I guess.
Yeah.
Because we've extracted AskLRR from live.
From live, yeah. And we talked about it, and you know, this is something that has sort of we've gone back and forth on a little bit over the time of Loading Ready Live, and it seems like Loading Ready, the AskLRR in Loading Ready Live can be kind of a low energy,
A momentum killer.
yeah. And
The
so
momentum killer strikes again. The 20-minute segment talking about butts.
Butts.
the momentum killer is the worst killer because you can see it.
He gets you eventually.
Yeah, but you can see him coming for so long.
Don't mind me.
Oh.
I'm fixing my light.
So yeah. Anyway, we decided that we're gonna split out the AskLRR, and then we would, because it's still like a kind of a fun thing to do, and you know it's great to interact with you guys and do all that great stuff. We still wanted to have a place to do that.
Yeah.
And so we thought that we would do this stream as sort of a test, and then theoretically,
Maybe we'll do these every once in a while.
periodic. We're not going to put them on any kind of particular schedule, at least not at the moment.
Because like
Yeah.
you said when we were talking about it, it's like we stream every single day.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Not obviously all of us, but like we're consistently answering questions like this all the time anyway. So it's like.
Apparently the notifier's kind of loud right now, Paul.
Oh, I can actually fix that.
Huzzah.
Sorry.
That I have to get up for.
Yeah, I mean, somebody in chat said that we could do a Vampire Night Clock, said we could do it alternating weekends. Typically, if we're not streaming on a weekend, it's because we have another filming thing to do. Like, typically, if it's not a Loading Ready Live weekend, we're scheduled to be filming, like, Friday nights or something. So, I don't know if that works, but...
It works nicely for, like...
This kind of week.
For this kind of week. Like, there are definitely weeks where a lot of us leave. Right? So it's like, and maybe we can't do a live or whatever. So it's like a nice little fill-in
Yeah.
kind of a thing. Like
You still get to look at our faces.
Yeah, we have, like, I think it's super necessary for us to have these, like, bonus stream ideas that we can always keep in the back of our pocket when we need to, like, do kind of stuff like that. Like the stream coming on after this.
My plan for that is to eventually, like, turn it into, like, a regular, semi-regular stream, like, once a month or once every 2 weeks or something like that, and have, like, occasionally have me do it, but have, like, invite, like, my friends on to talk about music that they're, like, really into, and then we can sort of mutually inflict musical tastes on one another.
Yeah.
I was like, I bet I could invite, like, actual, like, music reviewers. Like, The Quietus has a music reviewer who writes a psych rock column called Comfortably Numb. Like, it works really well as a pun when written, but it's impossible to say. So it's exactly my kind of joke.
Yeah.
So, like, invite somebody like that on there to talk about, like, super obscure bands no one's ever heard of. So I'm like, ooh.
Cool.
It's still kind of loud. It's like half the volume it was before. I mean, I can make it quieter.
You could turn down your headphones and reduce your general audio level.
You don't need to hear us anyway. This isn't a talking stream.
It's so that's going to be happening after this, the music stream.
Yeah, it's at like 6. So they probably won't butt up against each other because I have to go set it up.
But anyway.
Yeah.
Ben.
Yeah. So
You vetted some questions.
I did. Yeah. So I was in control of the questions for today, and basically how this is going to work is we've got I picked about 6 questions off of Twitter, and then. That'll be like the first half-ish of the show. And then the second half, we're going to open it up to the chat. And that's always a bit of an interesting one because obviously the chat starts filling up with questions and maybe people start reposting it. So we're gonna try and keep it. If everybody could keep it civil in the second half, where it's like if we miss your question, you don't need to consistently repost it or anything like that. But it'll be good because we were talking about it, and I'm just like. We recognize that not everybody uses Twitter, and consistently asking the AskLRR questions on Twitter actually can segregate like a portion of people who don't like to use Twitter and stuff like that. So it'll be this way we can open it up to more people.
Yeah.
So do we just want to get right into it?
First question.
All right. Check
first-
this out. I made some things for it too.
Yeah.
Woo!
Whoa! And I said, oh, but then somebody has to make slides. You're like, I don't need to make slides, and then you made
And then
slides.
I made slides.
Oh my goodness. You're
So
such
the
a-
first question comes from the Living Gale, asking, if you could live in any fictitious world from books or games or elsewhere, which would it be?
Oh, Windmill Slam Discworld.
Discworld?
Discworld.
I've never played or
Okay.
read or any of them.
The Discworld books are great. Magic is real. Witches are around. Demons, all that fantasy stuff. But there's also a well-functioning city with a postal service.
There's like half
Competent city guards.
Yeah, I was gonna say half the books are about how Ankh-Morpork doesn't function
Yeah,
well.
but I could live in a city because like too many of these worlds are post-apocalyptic or like incredibly rural. Neither of which are my jam.
It's true. It's true. There's Ankh-Morpork is like on the cusp of some sort of industrial revolution.
Yeah, I know. It sounds great. That's where I want to live.
Yeah.
Yeah, Discworld.
I mean, I play a lot of the games, so I'm just like kind of biased, but like I think the Pokemon universe would be pretty sweet to live in.
Oh wait, yeah, nothing bad ever happens to Pokemon. People can send 10-year-old kids out.
Oh,
of
and yeah, right.
world.
Like I mean, and there
no
are
murderers.
yeah, like there are obviously like if you've
child
seen
kidnappers.
yeah, if you've seen any of the movies and whatnot, there are like
all these,
catastrophic events that happen due to Pokemon.
Aren't
right?
those bad guys like running around challenging kids to fights all the time?
Yeah, but Pokemon fights, not like I beat you up and I like.
And well, but if you're living in Pokemon world, right? I would say you also are now subscribing to Pokemon anime rules in which the bad guys always lose. So there's never really any real fear that like Team Rocket is gonna like, jack your Pokemon or take over the world, because at the end some hero is gonna save the day. And like I like the idea of living in the Pokemon universe, but just like not actually being like some trainer or anything like that, but like I don't know, just living with my I don't know, my crabby, my crab, and being a fisherman.
I need to revise my answer.
Okay.
I want to live in a beautiful, I want to live in a beautiful European place with jaunty accordion music where nothing bad ever happens, but people have so many puzzles for you to solve. Professor Layton universe. I'm so good at all of those games.
Yeah.
I would be like a famous detective, and I'd have a great hat, and the animals talk.
Yeah.
Oh
Do
my
they?
God. Yeah.
I've never played
Solid
a
universe,
Professor.
yeah.
I played about 20 minutes of a Professor Layton game, and like on the
And
first
you're like,
puzzle, I'm like,
bullshit
this
puzzle.
is hard, and like put it down. This game's making me think.
I love those games. The thing is, once you get good at those kind of puzzles, your brain is trained to be good at those kind of puzzles. So now I'm just like I just like slam through them. Like they're
Nice.
not hard at all. But I've played like approximately 90 Grillion Professor Layton and spin-off games at this point.
Yeah, I was trying to think, like, the problem is that, a lot of, video games and movies and books and TV shows and stuff are all, generally based around, like, conflict, right? And so often the world is not that pleasant. Like, it's like, oh, this is a super cool movie. I wouldn't want to live in this world. Everything is terrible here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think there's many futuristic movies I want to like be a part of.
Yeah, you want to
Like-
watch Blade Runner, not live there.
Yeah, or like in the like Ghost in the Shell universe
just
or
about to say
anything,
Ghost in the Shell, that's
right?
like-
It's like it seems neat and there's all these cool things going on, but like
It's like 90 fucking layers of intrigue. It's
yeah,
too much.
this cyber crimes all the time, man.
People are hacking each other's brains.
Yeah,
No.
and I mean, I guess it's because the basis of like, future cities and whatnot is all kind of comes from the same sort of, dystopia sort of mindset and whatnot. And
Yeah. I mean, it's all Blade Runner, basically.
yeah, basically the future's spooky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny, like when my brother and I used to do the young adult dystopia podcast.
Yeah.
Fight the Future. And we had a section on that being like, how would we do? Being like, and this section of the podcast was like, if you were in this world, how would it do? And over the course of the podcast, we actually had to, we found that we had to actually kind of change that, because it started out as like us, like actually as we are, how would we do in that world?
Yeah.
And the problem is when you're dealing with young adult dystopias, we quickly realized that myself and my brother, as 30-year-old men, are the bad guys.
Right. Okay.
So you're ultimately going to die.
Yeah.
It's like the adults do not fare well
No.
in young adult dystopias.
Yeah.
It's like you don't get to be the hero.
No.
They look at Ben and they're like, no, too old. He's got to go.
Yeah. They're like, wait, are you a tween? Yes.
Yeah.
All right, come on.
Come in, suspiciously beardy tween.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I've actually been watching like Altered Carbon on Netflix.
That has been on my list. Yeah.
It's a neat movie, and it's like a really it's got all the sort of Ghost in the Shell, Blade Runner intrigue and stuff. But our world, our view into the world is this like horrible, like crime-ridden thing.
Right.
And there's like the guys but it seems like in terms of what technology is available and stuff, that there's probably it's probably pretty cool if you're not like in the like horrible red light district of wherever city they're in.
I mean, I guess
Neo Tokyo or whatever.
I guess that's the thing, right? Yeah, it's like in the Ghost in the Shell universe, like we only see Kusanagi's like what they're experiencing, like the crimes and all that kind of jazz, right?
Yeah,
we don't
go see Togas's wife and what she's like fucking around doing,
just living and
taking their
hanging
kid
out.
to school, like meeting her friends for coffee.
Yeah.
In a book club. Like we don't see any of that.
I mean, like I'm thinking about it. So I recently went and watched the Ready Player One movie, right? I never actually read the book, the movie, and it was. I mean, I'm not going to do any spoilers or anything like that, but.
It was a movie.
Yeah, the at the end of the movie and what's going on, like maybe that's the time. I really want VR to not be where it is now. Like it's cool. It's super cool and the things that we've got going on, but it's like, I think like it's gonna 90s kid Ben growing up and whatnot and seeing like all the, like iRobot and stuff like that. Like I think iRobot was like planned for like it was like 2013 or something like that, with like self-driving cars and whatnot, right? And it's just like, man, we are not even close to where we thought we were gonna be.
Nope.
I mean, it's neat. It's neat that it's cool that we are like we're getting like the VR glasses, and obviously it's not anywhere near the like immersive thing. Mm-hmm. But like I remember when the Kinect first came out. Right. There's this great article. This person was talking about it and talking about all the problems with it and all the stuff it doesn't do. And it says, but at the conclusion of the article, like at the very end, it was like, look, there's all these bad stuff about the Kinect. It has all these problems. It's not not that useful for a lot of things. Mm-hmm. There is no question that this is a step towards a holodeck, which is what we all want.
Yeah.
It's like we can all agree that's awesome. So
there's
every step towards
don't shit on this first step.
There's always part of me though that wonders with these like advancements and whatnot if they're so I'm gonna put like my tinfoil hat on here for a moment. If there's like with things like a holodeck or like a teleporter of some sort, if the's like pushback from like the transportation industry or whatever.
I would not get in a teleporter. There's no way they'll ever put people in teleporters.
No.
There is a very there's a philosophical debate behind teleporting.
That's always interesting.
Yeah, at what point do you, if I have to completely disassemble you into your constituent atoms and then reassemble you out of different atoms, are you still you? Does the beautiful spark of consciousness in your mind that makes you Ben Ulmer and not just a random sack of meat?
Yeah.
Does that get reassembled, or is that somehow lost when you are when you're the physical first part, the original you is destroyed. I honestly don't think that they will ever, like, even if we could figure out how to do teleportation, I don't think they'll ever make it legal to put people in it.
Yeah.
Because of that philosophical debate. It's like, they'll probably definitely test it on people, but they'll probably be great debates forever.
But the thing is, like, the technology involved in a teleporter is also the same as, like, a replicator, and also just copying people.
Yeah, it's just destructive cloning. Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah,
there's like a whole genre of sci-fi about this kind of stuff.
Are you the ship of Theseus, or are you the Cutty Sark?
Ah.
The ship of Theseus is, of course, like this ship that's been maintained and rebuilt, and so, like, whenever, like, a board breaks, they add a new board, but at what point is it because they've replaced every single part, at what point is it the ship of Theseus anymore? Because all the parts are new, or relatively new.
I like the idea of that Soul Survivor, but the like a Soma situation. I don't know if either of you guys have
I've
played
not
Soma.
played that one, no.
But the idea is that the human race is doomed. They're all done. But what they've done is they've created a utopia program. Like the Earth is basically going to explode, more or less.
Right.
They've created a utopia program that they upload everybody's consciousness into the program, and then they're just going to fire, like, the computer into space. And then just everybody's consciousness lives in this program, in this, like, utopia world kind of a thing, which is
could be worse.
It's interesting, yeah, right? Well, I mean, yeah, it's by the way, sorry, I just probably spoiled a ton of Soma.
Or maybe that's already happened.
Dun dun
This is
dun.
the best
I mean, there's always the
with.
Matrix theory, right?
Why I totally slipped my mind. Of course, best universe to live in, the Ian M. Banks culture universe.
Yes, you get to be one of the ships.
No, you can be a person.
How
Like
could you
but
be a super intelligent spaceship?
the people if you live in, like, living in the culture is, like, undeniably awesome. Like,
Yeah,
the culture books are it's the only book series I've ever seen that depicts, like, a legit utopia without
making it dull.
without, like, a dystopia. Like, it's not like it's a utopia, but there's really this secret undercurrent of evilness.
Well,
it's actually great.
That's like the whole thing that they talk about in the Matrix, right? Is that, like, the Matrix it's the third iteration, I think it is.
Right.
Because the first one just, like, didn't work. But, like, one of God, it's been forever since I watched it.
Yeah,
but, like, one of them was that
like,
they created the utopia,
And then we got bored
everyone
of it.
rejected it.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
like, this isn't right. We don't like it.
Kind of thing. So that's why the trials and tribulations of life are instituted into the program, kind of a thing, to make it seem, I guess, more realistic.
But anyway, the culture universe is awesome, and it's all basically based around the idea that you have these big, almost omniscient artificial intelligence computers that are, but instead of, Skynet, they basically look upon humanity as, like,
Sort of adorable pets.
well, or just, like, they consider it to be their duty to because humans made them, and then they're like, okay, that was, like, hundreds of years ago, but it's like, let's treat humans as well as we can.
Right.
Yeah, like you treat a pet.
I just said jail honors.
Exactly.
You feel this duty to care for this small, unintelligent, useless thing.
I just saw Jail Honors comment in chat. Like, it's a utopia, except you randomly stub your toe every hour.
Oh, man.
Then we don't reject it.
Well,
Anyways, I feel like that was a pretty good,
Yeah.
pretty
very
good dive into question
off-topic.
number
The
one.
nice thing about this, as opposed to Learning Way Live segment,
We don't have a time
is
limit.
that our time limit is, I guess, Kathleen's stream starts at 6. But
Yeah, oh, man. Heather, like, that was 22 minutes. Heather would have been coming in with a hook.
Just like, move on.
all right, what's another question? Let's see here.
Well, we said 6 questions. We'll...
Question number 2
Oh.
comes from at Semi-Sane, asking, what is your favorite part of doing Loading Ready Live? I felt like this one was fun because it's just, like, it's very sort of open-ended on it. Like,
Yeah.
what is, and everybody's probably going to have, like, a different part of it, I think.
Yeah, I really like doing the Commodore hustles now.
Yeah,
That's quite fun.
the hustles in live.
The hustlets.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are fun.
I think my favorite thing is typically during a week. it's not, we don't see each other in passing, I guess, but we're all like doing things, right? Like we're, somebody comes into stream, somebody comes into edit, other people, are working in here doing a thing or recording a podcast, whatever, right? And then live comes around, and then it's like all of us sitting in a room together, bouncing ideas off and like constructing something together.
Yeah.
Oh, perhaps my favorite part is just, the sheer amount of stuff we get done in a day and how everybody's like very focused.
Yeah.
We're all just like, do the thing, get your job done. Everybody's very like, can I help you? You got this? Okay, let's go. And then Beej brings us lunch, which is great.
Yeah, we've all kind of like fallen into our jobs for that too, which has kind of made the process a little bit more streamlined.
Yeah.
And stuff. Like you, me, and like Ian and Graham will like go into like the editing minds or whatever, or they'll unless we're required for like filming and stuff. And Paul will like set up all the overlay stuff and the set and whatnot for the day. And it's sweet. What about you, man?
I mean, like for me, for Loading Ready Live, it in addition to the sort of stuff that we do on stage, the sort of setup stuff always usually will provide each episode will often have a new and unique challenges in terms of what we want to do. In terms of do we want to use the do we want to have people be able to buzz in with the little buzzer things? What kind of overlay stuff do we want to have? What kind of videos do we want to have? And so that's sort of gives me a good excuse to.
I love the buzzers in the
play
last
around with
episode,
all
by the
sorts
way.
of stuff. Yeah.
They were great. We should bring them back for this or that.
Yeah, big thanks to oh no, I've forgotten his name. The person who sent us sent us those buzzers, which are from a PlayStation game.
It's
called
Buzz.
Buzz.
Called Buzz. Yeah.
But also wrote the controlling the code
really?
app that controls it, and then sends the info so that and then I can tap into it with the overlay.
Cool. So cool.
Thank you very much.
It's like a hackathon for you every 2 weeks.
Sometimes it's more, and sometimes it's less. Sometimes it is stuff that isn't. I don't know that we need until like half an hour before we're about to go live. But that's how it goes.
Live to me is so interesting. Like it's a very unique thing that we do on Twitch, and like coming as somebody from like a background of like performing on stage and stuff like that, doing it while we're in here and we do like an improv bit or whatever, and not hearing like the reaction and stuff like that. It makes it so interesting. Like, I mean, like we'll laugh at each other and whatnot. I think we threw the idea of like us trying to keep quiet in the background a lot of the time, like out the window, at least for when it comes to like the comedic parts of it. But like it's very unique. I really like live. I think it's a super cool thing we do.
I do like all the improv games.
Yeah.
And it's also, there's the nice aspect of live where a lot of the things we do are obviously pre-recorded things. We do, especially the stuff like Commodore Hustle or stuff like Friday Nights or whatever other shows. And there's the sort of like, trying to get it right and going through the edits and back and forth and trying to sort of figure things out. And the thing with Loading Ready Live, where it's like all sort of coming together in this frantic sort of thing of coming together, and whatever's ready at 5 or 6 now, that's what the show is, right?
Yeah.
It's like when we did the Mario bit 2 times ago, I guess
The
it
Hall
was.
of Marios.
The Hall of Marios. Like we went back and forth on how to do that for a while, and like we had the concept and the script and stuff, and then something like half an hour or like 20 minutes before we actually like setting up, and they're like, we should actually probably figure out like the blocking for this.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, well, something's gonna happen. It's live.
So much fun.
Yeah. Overall, it's actually interesting too, because last week we did because we've been trying to on alternating weekends either do like the hustle filming for the show or pre-record in advance for it. And we sat. It was like a couple of you guys went off to go do a different thing. I don't know if we're allowed to say what it was. Or whatever.
We were recording
They were
Corpline.
recording Corpline. Hey, there you go.
We're putting out a whole season. Like the idea being that we'll put out multiple episodes at once.
Yeah. So it was like, and so it was like the Corpline crew, and then a bunch of us were like, okay, we'll do the pre-record, and we sat there for like maybe like 2 hours trying to think like what we were going to do and stuff, and like multiple times we were just like, man, this is actually easier on when we're doing it the day of sometimes because it's like you're constrained by time, so you can't like. If you have to think of the idea and then go, and instead of going, oh no, I'm not too sure about that one, you go, okay, we're using that one, and now let's try and make it better, and like, go off with it and stuff. So
yeah, and then it's like, what about this, Cameron? That sounds great. You write it, okay?
Yeah,
right? Like
you have to because we're under such like time constraints.
That old, you know, the enemy is the enemy of the good or whatever that line. Where it's just like, it's not like that's one of the great things about. You know, loading ready to run, and it's not. It isn't random that it's worked out this way. That we have all these, you know, we have pre-recorded stuff, we have live stuff, we've got the stream stuff, all these different kinds of content that we produce. That's intentional, right? It's because it gives different sort of feelings for us and hopefully for you. It gives a different feeling in terms of making it, and that keeps us interested.
Yeah, I mean, live is really neat because it's kind of like a showcase of all the different things that we can do. Right? So.
And it's the only thing like it on Twitch. Tell your friends.
Yeah,
it's certainly unique. All right.
All
right. What else we got here?
So this one comes from Mockliamto. And the question is, what game or games genres would you play more if you had as much spare time as you wanted?
Gosh, I would play through Persona 5. I would finish my second playthrough of Persona 5.
I mean, would you say that because you did the like Kathleen Saves the World thing, and the problem that you found with that was that you would spend like a year playing a game because you're only doing it every once in a while.
Yeah, 3 hours a week. It's not a great way to finish a game, but I mean, like, that's kind of how I finished Persona 5, is just, like, you know, get those little, like, nuggets of spare time.
But if you had enough spare time to just, like, play it as much as you wanted, like, would JRPGs would definitely be much higher.
There's not a ton of JRPGs that I want to play right now. I mean, there's lots of games I can think of that I want to play. I could, if Graham hadn't taken the damn Switch, I'd be finishing Mario versus...
Wait, Graham took the Switch with him?
I think so.
Oh.
He always takes it. I didn't even look this time. I was just like, oh, Switch. I've been so busy though.
I figured with his laptop and his phone and his iPad and everything, he'd have enough.
I'd be playing Mario versus Rabbids. There's a bunch of good stuff on the Switch I'd want to play. I don't know, lots of DS games.
I'm playing it right now, but like I'm probably gonna have to figure out how to do it a little bit better. But like, because I'm worried. So the new WoW expansion is coming out, right? And things like MMOs and whatnot are something that I don't feel like I have the time to do as much anymore. Like when I started the Lure,
and they're a bit of like a treadmill too.
Yeah,
like you got to keep
always something to do,
and you got to keep going, or else you'll sort of fall behind.
Exactly.
Everybody.
Yeah. So like, I started the WoW Guild or the Lure WoW Guild on the server, and then I eventually had to I passed it off to the community members and whatnot because I was like, I can't run a guild and whatnot. But I was consistently raiding all the time, and then as I took on more responsibility and started moving to streaming and stuff like that being my career, I wasn't able to do it anymore. So it's just like, I'm kind of sad that I don't, and also with the new expansion looks really cool, and I'm like, I don't know how much time I can designate to this, and sure, I could stream it, but WoW has never been one of those games that streams well.
No.
To me, MMOs in general, I mean, there are definitely people who are WoW streamers. Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's not always as involved for people unless you are known as a WoW streamer and you've cultivated that WoW crowd.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I wish we could play more Commander together.
Oh,
just
card
like
games
yeah,
like
just
that.
like have like commander nights and stuff like that. But it's like getting together and like playing.
That's why I'm always like telling people to come visit. I'm
Yeah.
like, no, you should definitely come and visit because then everybody's like, yes, I will take the night off and spend it with you. Like it's always such a good excuse. Like
Yeah, well, because like last weekend when Lily and Andrew
yeah.
came to town, Andrew, Cameron, Adam, and myself sat in here and we just played a game of Commander, but we played it with the plane chase deck
I
also.
love Commander Plane Chase.
It
It's so
was
much fun.
so much fun. At one point, probably the funniest thing that happened was like from the Adam was using the new Dragon Precon deck.
Have we ever actually streamed Commander Plane Chase?
I don't know.
No, I don't know if we have.
But Adam was using the new Dragon deck, and it has that like new. I think it's like a sorcery that like you exile an opponent's creature, and then everybody gets a copy of that creature except the owner. So he did that to my Platinum Empyrean, which is the card that your life totals can't change. So I didn't have one, but everybody else had a Platinum Empyrean, and I was just like, oh.
This is gonna get awkward.
Okay. And oh my god, it was super super funny. There was also like a plane where every time you roll like chaos, you just get an extra turn, and Cam got 3 in a row. It was so goofy. It was very fun. Like I love playing Commander. So.
Yeah, and I'm a fan of Plane Chase as a thing.
Yeah.
Oh, Plane Chase is super fun.
Yeah, in terms of I mean the sort of JRPGs and stuff is that that thing where it's just like it's that the transition from when you're a kid to when you're an adult where the like 60, 80, 100 hours of gameplay on the back of the box is not a feature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like a positive thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still dig those kind of games, but
Well,
yeah, it's hard to get into that.
When you're like in high school, you're like, yeah. And then when you're in university and you have no money, you're like, oh my God, such value.
Yeah.
And then when you have a job, you're like,
Fuck. Yeah, I really wanted to so I didn't play Ni no Kuni 1, but Ni no Kuni 2 apparently you don't need to like play the first one at all or anything like that, and it looks really cool, and I was like, I should get this, and then I'm like, and everyone's like, it is so typical JRPG in the terms of length and grindiness and stuff like that, and I'm like, I ain't got time for that. Like, no way.
I mean, to be fair though, like I've put probably 60 hours into the most recent, like the Assassin's Creed Origins. Like
Right.
I've played that a lot, but that's over the last 6 months probably, maybe 5 months.
Yeah.
But so like it's there is that opportunity, but it's got to be a game that you're sort of really into,
yeah, like that's.
and that you can sort of do in little bits.
Well, I mean, my issue with a lot of JRPGs is I'm just like, to the story after a while, I'm like, oh boy, another fantasy world. Oh, a dragon, a princess, whatever. So I like the Atlas games. That's like why I started playing the Atlas games, because I like JRPGs and I like those long engrossing stories, but I found often the writing was bad and the characters were trite. And I played Atlas games, which are not set in fantasy worlds at all, and they're dark, and they deal with like philosophical themes, and they're very interesting, and they're very hard, so they're very different than JRPGs, which sort of like are hand-holdy, or at least like the ones that I started playing in like high school, university are. And so yeah, so now I will make time for Atlas games because they do have, I think, a higher quality of story and gameplay. But not for anything. I'm not going to be like making a bunch of time for like I Am Setsuna or something, which I thought was fine.
Yeah, JRPGs is a good answer. Yeah, I think that's the big one.
Yeah.
Like, I really want to play through like Tales of Vesperia or something like that again because it was one of my favorite games. When I was in high school, because it was a JRPG that you could play with 4 players, which was sweet.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was really really cool. So it was a fun kind of thing, and like so it's always more. It was neat because like playing a JRPG where there's 4 of you playing all together, and you all get to like experience the story of like a JRPG like together simultaneously and whatnot. It was very very neat. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
All right, what else we got here for questions?
This one comes from Greg the Terrible. The question is: you're a professional wrestler. Heel or face and theme, and what is your what is the elevator pitch
What a
for your
good question.
professional character?
What a good question.
Yeah, this is a really good question. Thanks, Greg. I put this up there. I actually don't have an idea. This was one that I really had to think about. Like, I mean, obviously, like the the throwaway answer for me would just be like, I'd be some sort of lumberjack man, right? But
I mean, that's solid. That's a solid gimmick.
yeah. I mean, yeah. So like, people have joked actually for quite a while, like since I got on onto Sidewalk Slam as the editor, that I am just basically I'm Sami Zayn.
Yeah, I can see it.
Which is like, because it's like I got the ginger a little bit in me. I would listen to a lot of ska music and whatnot, and I'm just kind of goofy. But yeah, like I would probably end up being a babyface, like for sure. I don't think I could be the heel by any means.
I would be a heel.
Yeah.
Because not necessarily because I am a, like, you know, but heels typically need to have better mic skills than faces because they need to be able to generate heat.
Yeah,
and I think I
definitely.
could bring the improv game to the WWE.
Yeah.
And I would be one of them gothy looking wrestlers like Paige or whatever
Oh,
that
we need
Ruby
a new
Rose
Paige
one
now
is.
too. Yeah.
That they just can't, but she's like more tough. But my like personal brand of like dark attire tends to go towards like the more like I like wearing dresses and skirts. I like wearing those things. So like
Flowing fabric is not
no.
great for.
No.
That's your entrance.
In my
Yeah.
entrance that I
Yeah.
take off. How cool would it be to have like sort of not like a full gothic Lolita, but like cute, like not like petticoats, but just like, you know, somewhere between wrestler and gothic Lolita.
Yeah.
But just like maybe I have a parasol and then I spit fire at you and then I bash you with my parasol.
That's very sweet. Do
Is
you have
that-
a name?
I feel like
No.
that's that.
I mean,
that-
maybe Lolita if I, cause like, come on, it's the
Yeah.
WWE. They're not
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
I
grand
feel
this
like
thing.
that's a gimmick that maybe hasn't been. Maybe it has been. But is
I
there
would say
a
probably
gothic Lolita?
in like New Japan or something.
Well,
like
probably,
That. We
yeah.
are not the wrestle people.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Kathleen's in an SNK game.
Yeah.
Heckin' kawaii. Kawaii. Scary.
Yeah. I feel like I would have to be. I would have to be one of those people. Like it'd have to be like one of the. I have like some sort of like crazy weird secret moves.
Yeah.
That require a lot of cooperation on the part of the person I'm wrestling.
Right, you really need to think about these in advance.
Or I'm like, you know, I do like the finger hold on them, and they're like, oh no.
So you're the guy that has like the, I don't even know what it's called, the fucking dick turn thing where like they like where they do like he like clenches the cheeks and like flips like a whole line of people over with his ass.
I am not aware of that move.
Yeah.
Or
but
like
sure.
Santino and like the
with the
sock
snake,
that everybody's we just know this from watching Sidewalk Slam.
Yeah. I mean, all my wrestling knowledge comes from Sidewalk Slam.
Yeah.
I don't watch it on my own. Joey Ryan, thank you guys.
I do appreciate the heel move. I saw somebody mention William Regal in the chat, and I don't really watch wrestling now. But like when I was younger, I used to watch it like occasionally, and I always remember just the absolute epitome of heel moves is when William Regal was supposed to be coming in as like the British ambassador, and one of the first things that he ever did like on the show as that character, he comes in and it's like, I would like to now read a list of things Americans could do to be more polite. And just reads this list. And it's just
William
like, you know,
Regal's awesome.
it's just like
Wow.
super, it's just like, you know, super insulting.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's but it was just like such a perfect, like, such a blatantly obvious heel move to just be like, yes, I'm evil. I will twirl my mustache.
That's what's known as cheap heat.
Yeah.
I mean, like, so one of my favorite wrestlers now, and it sucks because he's like so I've gotten invested into wrestling through that. I never watched on my own, but I love hearing about all the news and stuff. Like Adam and Graham do a really good job. They make editing it very easy. But I love Bray Wyatt. I think I like this. I like his whole spooky thing. I think he's great. He just never wins ever. I would love to do some sort of like creepy lumberjack, like from the woods, kind of a gimmick, kind of-
like a real spooksman,
yeah.
not this Sister
Yeah.
Abigail.
That
Stuff that
yeah.
never works.
Like I think I'd like to be like the next like Kane or Undertaker in terms of like spookiness.
Actually, a spooky wizard.
Yeah, and not go like goofy like the boogeyman or something like that.
Uh,
Yeah.
Rip Bray Wyatt. Did they
Basically be Uncle Istvan? Yeah, sure.
Did they put him into the lake of reincarnation?
Who?
Did Matt Hardy put him into the lake of reincarnation?
Oh, to be like woken or whatever?
Yeah, because remember they're having that big fight?
I don't know.
No.
I don't know. They didn't. I don't think they talked about it on. Yeah.
Ah.
Baba Yaga would be a cool name.
Oh, or I could just be like a legit witch. Actually, that's my thing. Is like I look all cute, but then I'm like actually a witch.
Yeah. I mean, so Flying Dutchman, bad news. You're far not scary enough. I know I'd need to be like, but like, it's
Acting.
a persona thing. It's acting, right? Braun Strowman is actually like a gigantic teddy bear, from what I understand. So it's like, but when he plays, he's the big scary like Destructo Man, right? You can act. So yeah.
Didn't know wrestling lore was paranormal too. Oh, it gets really weird.
Yeah.
The amount of paranormalness varies a lot, but they've gone very deep.
Well, I mean, like you've got what's his face, the one that Graham dressed up at Desert Bus, the one who's like you look at him and you're like, wow, you're surprisingly good looking.
Oh, the one he did this year.
The demon.
Yeah. Oh, I got to get it before chat does. Finn Balor.
Finn Balor.
Damn it! Oh, Underhill got there just
Yeah,
before
Finn Balor. Like Finn
Yeah.
Balor legit has like some
Yeah.
sort of like Celtic demon he can summon. It's like, fuck, I'm not gonna say it wrong because I can't pronounce Celtic words, but it's like Cluclan or whatever. It's like Chluchula. Like,
Oh man, I don't know.
Yeah.
Quick Lane or however you say that.
But like, there's the thing with like, like Undertaker legit being like an undead wizard. But like that aspect of his character is emphasized more or less depending on the prevailing feeling at WWE at any given time.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, next question.
Yes, that's how you spell it, but that's not Cucullin. Thank you, Craddock. But it's got the spelling and the pronunciation are not connected, and I do not speak Irish.
Next question comes from Frozen Scarecrow. This is one that I was hoping we could maybe weigh on. So it's what is the best way to make friends when you move to a new city and have trouble talking to people you don't know?
Oh, that's miserable.
Yeah. So
I'm not a good one to answer this one because I was born here.
Yeah.
well, I mean, so I moved here, I guess, and Kathleen moved here.
Yes.
But I think we both had, or at least I had I was fortunate enough to know people.
Yeah.
When I moved here, but
I moved here for some boy.
Yeah.
Which I don't recommend anybody do.
Boys are overrated.
It turned out very poorly for you.
Yeah.
But my philosophy has always been, and I actually learned a lot about this from my good friend Joe Kim, and he is very good at talking to people just randomly. Like he's a very good conversationalist.
So was Serge actually.
Serge is very good too. Serge is also a very good one for it. And the one thing that has sort of been reiterated to me a lot is if you are new, right, and you don't know somebody or whatever, and maybe you're not comfortable talking to people, the only way you're ever going to get comfortable talking to people is by talking to people. And the upside you have when it comes to not knowing folks or being new in town is that, like, if you crash and burn or whatever, just in terms of just talking to somebody, it literally doesn't matter. You're not going to see them again. I mean, unless you move to, like, some small, tiny, town of, like, 100 people or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's always that risk, but usually you're not moving to a town so small. But I've moved several times to like different towns. When I went to university, after university, I moved to Chetwynd, of all places. There's a very small town of like 3,000 people in the interior of BC. But I met a life friend there. My friend Lindsay, that I met there. You've met Lindsay.
Yeah.
I would describe her as one of my eternal besties. And how I met Lindsay was I was like, whoa, I don't know anybody here, and I would like not to be totally alone. I guess I'm just gonna talk to people in my age group. So I tried to make friends with people in a sort of like similar age group to me at work, and it worked pretty well. Had a couple work friends that I would like occasionally get beers with, and I went and volunteered at the local radio station because they had a radio station, and a lot of people would move to Chetwynd to get their very first job out of university. That was the case with me. That was the case with Lindsay. And the radio station was hard up enough for content that you could just go and do a community radio show.
Really? That's wicked.
Yeah, and so you'd have, God, and I'd inflict my musical taste on people, and occasionally people would like call and be like, hey, can you play some Metallica? And I'd be like, no.
Get out of here.
Occasionally I was like, well, no, but I can play something similar that you might like, and then I'd play like Opeth or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, haha, mill workers. Just trying to listen to the radio on a Tuesday night and have some big city girl be rude to you. But maybe I'd be a little more polite nowadays. But anyhow, and when I moved to Vancouver from Chetwynd, I didn't know anybody, but I knew one person, which is my friend Adam, that I knew from an internet message board.
Okay.
So
Which is
I
like
was
a big thing now too,
Yeah,
right?
I was like, hey, we get along really well in online Echoes. That was his username. Big Pink Floyd fan. Mine was Kathleen. I was not very good. It's usually not taken.
Yeah. Nobody just goes straight with Kathleen?
No.
I mean, I guess Kate got Kate on Twitch too, right?
Yeah. Is Innsbruck secret parody Chetwynd? No, but it is.
There's some inspirations,
living
probably.
in some small towns has informed Innsbruck, and I would, I just was like, let's hang out. No, not Seabats Adam. This is different Adam.
Mr. Hancock.
Mr. Hancock, who is to this day my BFF. Turns out we got along great online, and we got along like house on fire in person.
He's been in old Lur videos too.
Yeah.
I was watching. I rewatched the. No, it wasn't the whatever a million things to do with condoms one or what I don't think,
Yeah.
but it was like
Like,
it was
there's
something
some, like,
take
road
one
trip
in
video
that
or
house.
something?
Yeah, in that house, and I was like, look how young he looks.
He's so weird. He's got like the floppy long
Yeah,
legs.
yeah, I noticed it instantly.
I should just send him a picture of that and be like, don't do that again. Yeah, so that's what I recommend. Just either find a tangential friend. Like, do you know how, like, when Cam moved to Victoria? Because Cam and I had a mutual friend, but we're not friends in Prince George, but we're both from Prince George. And when he moved to Victoria, I was just like, do you want to come hang out because you don't know anybody? Again, I hadn't lived here for all that long, and all I knew was Graham's friends. And now, of course, now we're all the same group of friends. But yeah, just find somebody you tangentially know, or if you don't know anybody, find some sort of activity that you can do with other people and talk to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when I went to college, I was living in dorms, and a couple of guys that I ended up hanging out with for basically the entire time I was, I made friends with them, and we were hung out for a lot of time, and I ended up sharing a house with one of them. I was just in the dorms and like kind of feeling lonely or whatever, and walked past the common room, and they were painting like Warhammer miniatures, and I was like,
These look like nerds.
This is probably an inn. But yeah, if you can find that thing, and also I would actually say, from the other side. So like I said, I've lived in Victoria all my life. I went away to university, but then I came back, and meeting somebody who is sort of meeting a new person that is sort of has compatible interests is great, because they don't know all of your stories already.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
it's
you
so
could
good.
you could do all the things that all your like old friends are bored of you talking about.
Yeah. I mean, so
So don't feel bad. So if you're like the new person, they'll be like really excited to talk to you about stuff.
here's the thing, right? Like, so, if you go out, right, and you go to, let's say, a bar or something like that. Bars are terrible places for meeting people, but I mean,
Yeah,
this
they're
is an example.
loud.
They're loud and nobody can talk. But
They're there to fuck, not to chat.
there are going to be people.
Not in the bar usually.
Well, I mean, but like there are
How
people who are
spacious are the toilets?
there are people there who are, you're going to be like, hey, how's it going? I'm new in town, blah, 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 blah. And they'll be like, and they'll tell you to fuck off, right? There's always going to be people who are doing that. But I can guarantee that I'm the kind of person, for example, that if I'm just, drinking in a bar, like I'm having like lunch or something by myself, and then like, and someone's like, hi, and just strikes up a conversation, I'm always down to have those conversations with people. And there are people out there who are like that, right? And it's just like, and then eventually you end up finding those people that are good conversationalists. I was hesitating telling this story because I don't want to set some sort of precedent, but that is actually how Suffix from Chat and I became friends. He moved to town and came to the bar that I was running trivia at, and was just like, hey, I'm a fan. Look, can I buy you a beer? And I was just like, sure, man. And then we sat down and we talked, and then we just hit it off really well, and we became friends. Now, I'm not saying move to Victoria and come find me and come have a beer with me and we'll be best buddies, but that's an example of how, that kind of stuff can spring.
Can I just say, talking to people, just going up to somebody at a bar and be like, hey, chatty chat, works a little differently. Don't do that to girls.
Oh, yeah.
I would not. It sort of depends, but I don't think I would be as receptive to that.
It's a real, that's a real, yeah, I mean, you got to be, I would call that to be sort of a varsity move. Like you have to be pretty comfortable to be in that, to know how to read the signals that when that's not, and take like, okay, that that's totally cool to not continue that conversation.
Yeah.
So I'm on the fence regarding that, because obviously there is a high precedent that it's just like, it's creepy. It has been made creepy in the past.
I mean, you can read somebody's body language to see if they're receptive.
That's the thing. I'm super against the idea that you can't go up and talk to somebody, right?
No.
So it's like the moment if you go. I mean, this isn't some dating advice podcast, but I believe that if you go up to somebody and you say, "Hey, how are you going?" and then they go, I'm not interested," or even if they just seem uncomfortable, then you go, "All right, I'm going to leave you alone," and you leave. You can 100% talk. I feel like. Without being a dong, I always believe that you can talk to somebody, right? And then it's up to you to not be a wad, right? Like if you're going up to a girl in a bar, or if you're going up to a guy in a bar, or what have you, I'm not just going to say it that. Just don't approach somebody with the intent to date. The Flying Dutchman's got it right. Like. Don't do that. Just be like, I want to have a conversation with a human being, and I feel like you'll succeed a lot more.
I mean, the problem being that women are sort of like always on like I would say a mild level of alert.
Yeah.
About that kind of thing. But if you just like, if you open with, "Hi, or something honest, I don't know. Hi, I'm new in town. I'm looking to make friends." People don't typically approach me in situations like that because I have a pretty strong like fuck off field that I can project. Don't talk to women if they're wearing headphones, which typically I do when I'm out and about. I wear large headphones so you can tell I'm wearing them. None of this earbuds.
Yeah. Don't try and talk to people wearing headphones.
Yeah.
Don't.
And but if they're just like their body language seems closed off, don't. Right.
I mean, it's in general like the idea.
No matter how cool they look.
Yeah.
If you're if you're not sure or whatever, then you definitely want to err on the side of not bothering people. And you want to ideally you want to get reasonably comfortable with your ability to read body language and to read the situation in a more open thing, like not in like a bar or whatever, where there is a lot of sort of built-in expectations that if you are in a more casual environment, that can be a great place to sort of learn.
But like the same thing, like if I'm just sort of like sitting by myself at a bar, or like maybe having a solo lunch because I'm just like, quiet alone time, right? That's different than like if like I join a community radio station and I'm hanging out, meeting people who work at the radio station, and get invited to a party because there's only so many people in town. Or like I'm at an LGS and somebody's like, "Hey, there's a lady planeswalkers night," or like there's planeswalkers for diversity. Do you want to come for that? It's like, oh, I subscribe to sounds like an event I'd be interested in going to. And of course, I'm going to talk to the people there. Like, if you're like wary about this bar thing, I think you can definitely find outlets where it's more acceptable to talk to strangers. But if you like are confident that you can read body language and you're pretty cool with talking to people, yeah, go up to people who are just like looking like they want to make friends. Because some people really will go to like bars or like, you know, coffee shops and stuff and just want to meet people and do it because they want to meet people. And you can usually tell because they're like looking around, trying to engage with people. They have an open body language. They're not wearing headphones. They're not looking at their phone. They're like people watching and stuff. Talk to those people.
Yeah. It's unfortunately there aren't any hard and fast rules for this kind of stuff. You just got to be.
Yeah.
There it is. It is hard to learn, and it's not something that I'm particularly good at myself.
No.
But it's something that that is difficult to deal with. But in terms of meeting people, this has kind of got off track from meeting people in a new city. But
it's all good advice.
But
Sorry, I had to be like a big downer there.
No.
But
I just think like because it's very true because it sucks because there's like there are definitely like people who have there's the reason there's the stereotype about it about you know dudes walking up to girls and being fucking creepy and stuff like that. Like it happens, right? But I am the kind of person that I believe that the only way that we're ever going to be able to sort of like open up and be able to have human interactions and whatnot out in the wild with one another is if people can learn to read social interactions and sort of be I guess more open to the idea of having these conversations and these dialogues and stuff like that.
Yeah. And like, I don't think anybody's saying don't. I think we're all just saying like, hey, just like read the tone of the person. And the problem with approaching women is this is not, I'm not saying that all boys are bad, but
boys are gross.
well, no, it's
Fuck
just
boys.
that like there's that, you know, that it's I don't really know. I don't claim to know, but I actually think it's probably quite a small percentage of guys who are complete assholes and are trying to use like PUA tactics on you, or like, oh, I've had a couple guys try to do that on, like to me like much earlier. Oh, it was always sort of funny to like shatter their dreams, really.
Yeah.
But you know what. Like just, you know, there's like women are always on sort of a low level alert for that kind of thing. So you don't want to like get their hackles up prematurely. So, you know, cautious.
All right. I feel like we put some work
right.
into that. We've also been going on for an hour already.
Yeah.
Well, all right. We've got a
last
couple more
question here from the Twitters.
Yeah. So this one comes from the Albert Ayala. And this one's interesting, asking,
yeah.
has there been any instances where you've hit a wall in creativity in producing content? And if so, how do you overcome it?
I try to talk it out with other people. Like, occasionally I've been like, I have nothing for XYZ script. And so usually I'm like, what does anybody have any ideas? Like, even if it's just like the little germ of an idea, you know, just something to motivate me and spit it out. That's why I'm a big fan of like an idea seed, even if it's something that takes you on a completely different path, just something to start working on, right? Like, you know, a birthday greeting. Okay, well, how would I do a wacky birthday? You know, or right, just like give yourself something to work from and then go from there. And if you really are like just out of juice, which occasionally happens, you just go and like listen to music or go for a walk or whatever recharges your batteries and not think about it for a while.
Like, you are absolutely allowed, like, I mean, it's obviously tougher if it's your job and stuff like that, and it's like one thing, but like, you're absolutely allowed to put something down for like a little while to sort of recharge it, because like a lot of people will notice when you stop sort of having the passion for it, or you'll or you're running out of ideas or something like that. Like, some of you might remember that I did like a very short run of a show of Who the Hell?
Yeah, I like that show.
And I did too. And then by the like 7th or 8th episode, I was just like, I am tired of this joke. And it's why at Desert Bus this year I didn't do a Planeswalker thing. It just got done. It was just no longer enjoyable for me, so that's why I ended up putting it down. And then it ended up, instead cycling to me like focusing more on streaming and becoming an editor for LRR and whatnot, right? So it's like, sometimes just shifting is really, really good for that kind of stuff and can lead to new things.
Is the wonderful science fiction author Isaac Asimov. There's an essay he wrote a while ago where he was talking about when he's stuck on a plot line or something. The thing that always gets him or fixes it for him is he goes to a really dumb movie, like an action movie. And it's one of that thing of there really is something in that sort of allowing your subconscious to kind of crunch on a problem.
Yeah.
And while your sort of conscious mind is doing other stuff, it's amazing how effective that will be. Like, I've even had stuff with programming things where I'll be stuck on a problem and be just like hammering on it for like an hour or two and not getting anywhere, and then literally like getting up and like going to have lunch or whatever, and like 5 minutes of not being there in front of the computer working on the thing, I'll be like, oh right, of course, that's how I do it, or whatever. Like there's definitely something about that, being able to sort of step back a little bit and taking it from a different perspective.
There is a streamer and YouTube content maker who was like my big inspiration for like wanting to do all this stuff and like work towards it and whatnot. That goes by Spazzy. And he did, he's pretty much, his main big kickoff was League of Legends stuff. And I used to be so into League of Legends, like it was my jam, right? And then I slowly kind of fell out of it and was like, I didn't pay attention to it. And so Spazzy's videos ended up not being as like, I didn't quite enjoy them as much because I was just like, I'm not really into League of Legends anymore, right? And then I think it was like last year or something like that, or maybe just like a couple of months ago, he was like, I don't like playing this game anymore. And I kind of want to, like, I've been playing a lot of things like Fortnite or just like other kind of games and stuff. And I think it's kind of showing in my work that I'm not getting as like excited about these things. And he started doing new videos and stuff like that. And I came back and I started watching him again and was like, yeah, man, I missed your like positivity. And like started watching these things, right? And started watching his vlogs and all that kind of jazz. And like it became a thing. It just kind of goes to show that sometimes, like you just need to shift gears a little bit or kind of look at something from a new perspective.
Like collaborate with other people if you can.
Yeah.
Like a lot of time, this is not something people typically see. It's something that doesn't really show up in loading time, but like occasionally I'll be like writing a Friday night script and I'll be like, okay, I know the broad strokes, and I will say, Cameron, what would your character do here? Here is some rough dialogue. Does this work? And like, I'm actually really good at nailing sort of Cameron's internal character voice, his Cameron voice, because Cam's not actually a horrible misanthrope. He's a very nice person in real life. That's why we're friends with him, right? But it's like, does this work for you? Like, what about this? And he's like, oh, what if I did this? And like, sort of like, sort of collaborate, bounce ideas off one another. For the last loading ready for the Hustlet, I was like, all right, so I get to so we have all this juice, and the juice was actually Ian's idea. Here's some sausage being made. I was like, all right, we got to do a Commodore Hustle. Does anybody have any ideas, like stuff that you want to do? And Ian's like, what if somebody goes on a juice cleanse? And I was like, yeah, but we're not really juice cleanse people. Oh, but we are cheap. So if B got free juice, he'd totally drink it. And I'd drink it if I could somehow get money out of it. And so that spun up. And then I was just like, well, what the heck am I going to do? And I had sort of worked myself to the corner. I really wanted to have a hard cut to a graveyard. And so I was reading the script out to people. And then Paul just suggested like that fucking killer ending line, where it's like, what did you spend your money on?
Anti-venom.
Yeah.
It's so funny. And like, I never would have thought of that myself, right? And I probably never would have come up with the idea for a juice cleanse myself, right? Because that was all Ian. And like, just so it was like a very collaborative, like, all right, well, what would your character do here? What would your character do here? Well, how do we end this? Do you guys have any ideas? What do you think?
Like, I think we help each other
Yes.
through a lot of that stuff, right? Like hit a block today during loading time that Kathleen helped me kind of like figure out what I was supposed to do during that kind of
Did
thing.
that work, by the way?
It did. It's working, coming out really, really nice.
Yay!
Yeah, it's working well.
Editing's just another form of being creative.
Yeah. Well, and then the other thing is like sometimes, and the ideas really just sort of spring. They just sort of come naturally eventually, right? Like the crap shot we wrote, fixed out yesterday, the graveyard one with the ghosts and stuff like that. That came out of we went to go film Chessel, and then there was just like a conversation James and I had, right? And then it turns into a thing.
And
right?
it's especially like I know like when we used to do the weekly sketches, one of the big things for me was always that it's like you need the sort of raw material, right? Like if you're sitting there working on, writing or whatever all the time, then the only thing you have to write about is you writing, right? And so I don't know how many sketches I wrote based on like signs I saw in the windows of shops on my way to and from the office, or just like you never know where it's going to come from, right? And so just sort of being, I guess, out in the world a little bit, and not necessarily going whatever bungee jumping and stuff, but just sort of experiencing interesting things and stuff. Like I think Eddie Izzard had a bit in his stand-up where he's talking about where he doesn't do active research, he does passive research.
Yeah.
So he'll be like watching TV and there'll be like a documentary on elephants, and then he'd be like, okay, I'll watch this, and then I can do some bits about elephants maybe.
Yeah.
But it's just like having, when you're doing whatever your creative outlet is, you're sort of turning your brain into a machine for making that thing. But you need the raw material in there. You need stuff you need a starting place to turn things into interesting stuff.
Definitely. And then just put something down. Start with anything. You can always revise it later. Nothing comes out perfectly.
The Castle on Trento, that is entirely correct. I wrote the sketch about shrieking explosive diarrhea based on a sign that I saw in the bus. There was a sign. It was for I forget what disease it was. It was just like this, the silent killer. And so I was like, I want to write the script for the not at all silent killer.
Right. Yeah. There you go.
Anyway, so those were the 6 questions. And so why don't we maybe take a quick commercial break?
Oh yeah.
And then we will come back and maybe do some questions from chat and show you some
stream highlights. Yeah. So we've got a stream highlight reel for you guys.
It better be exported by now.
It should be. We'll see how that goes.
If it hasn't, something's gone very wrong.
So don't go away. We'll be right back answering more questions and showing off the good stuff.
Woo.
Hi, we're back.
We are back.
Yeah. I gotta lean on this side because I'm off camera.
Yeah.
There.
I sort of naturally lean to the left, so it feels like I'm like leaning away from Paul. I gotta,
you gotta go right in the center.
split the difference.
Welcome back to AskLRR.
This way.
Yeah.
So at this part, we're gonna start answering your guys' questions in chat.
Yeah.
Now, not that I guess we were answering your guys' questions before, but this is the chat-based one.
Yeah, and a question that's come up a couple times and has sort of been answered in chat, but hey, I'll say it anyhow for the benefit of getting other people time to get their chat questions in. What is this feed dump replacement show, and when is it coming? Because you said you're working on it soon. It's called The Panelists, and the TLDR is it's going to come out every Thursday. It's going to be a weekly show, and it's going to be a panel show, and the first episode is April 26th. And how we did this was we all decided that sort of we were done doing feed dump and we didn't find it, creatively fulfilling anymore. And
sort of like what we were talking about before the break there.
Yeah, exactly. Like we didn't think it was bad.
No.
But we were all just like, like a little like bored of doing it. We'd been doing it for like something like 1 trillion episodes. And so we decided to have a meeting where we would all propose ideas for a new show. And I said, what if we just did an English panel show and just got to the best bits of us fucking around and making each other laugh? And everybody went, oh, I like that idea. And then we did a test, and the test turned out very well. And I think some mods saw the test footage, or some of the test footage. And so then we ordered the fancy stuff, and now we're going to do this.
Cool. So it's going to be good.
And yes, and so that show is going to be coming out end of the month. The first episode.
It's so good. I'm so excited. It's a really
I was
good
editing
show.
the second half of the first episode. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. So yeah, I see people putting in their questions. Do we want to have the question like added? Because then it shows up like it shows up like with the blue kind of a thing.
I guess that might be useful.
Yeah.
But we can sort of pick it
them
up,
out.
however.
Chat's moving so fast.
Oh, here's a good question from the Thromborax. What is the oldest / first viral internet video you remember seeing? Mine is the Nutrigrain bar ad. I feel
Viral
great.
video.
Look at my horse. My horse is amazing.
That's the
Give him a
first
lick.
one?
He tastes just like raisins. Yeah. That's the first like weird viral or badger.
I mean,
mushroom,
Badger,
mushroom.
the Weeble stuff.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I definitely remember. I don't know if that's the earliest viral video that I remember, but
That's definitely the first one I remember.
I'd say if I'm thinking back, the first one that I remember is probably Ultimate Showdown of Ultimate Destiny.
oh yeah,
The Lemon Demon.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Old Neil
I know-
Segura.
I know that whole song.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I remember most of the lyrics too, but yeah. End of the World.
Oh, that's so early.
Yeah, that is
Oh, but I'm tired. Let's have a nap and
I
fancy
mean,
myself.
all your bass, certainly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time. I was not a Newgrounds or a kid. I was a albino black sheep. Was a website similar to like Newgrounds or like eBaum's World, kind of a thing that like had like flash animations and stuff. And that's where I spent. Oh, the Dancing Baby was a big one too. End of the World has been updated recently. Huh. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if Homestar is really.
Homestar, yeah.
But like, is Homestar really like a viral video? It's
I mean,
just a
Trogdor
show.
is pretty viral.
Oh, Trogdor was
Yeah,
like...
it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm a fan of Homestar. Just a thing, like, and they still put out videos occasionally.
Yeah, they put out an April Fool's Day video.
And I love those stuff.
Oh yeah, I will always respect a good Homestar runner.
That was one of the first things that, like, literally
Reference.
the night that Graham and I met, we bonded over our mutual love of Homestar Runner.
It's just good. It's good. It's my favorite kind of humor. The humor where nobody gets hurt.
Yeah, it's all very sweet.
Yeah.
Hamster Dance, yeah.
Oh.
Made by a woman in Nanaimo.
Oh really?
They went to Malaspina, the same college I went to in Nanaimo.
Wow.
Paid for her education with it.
Wow.
All right, there you go. Hopefully that answered it
So
well.
yeah, we have various old things that we remember.
Strong Sad Gets Hurt. That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
I cannot remember who asked it in chat, but the question, because chat moves very fast during this kind of segment, but somebody asked, so we play video games and stuff like that kind of for a living, right, on top of like the editing and stuff like that. Are there things outside of those that we like to do to sort of unwind after like a day of working and whatnot?
What do we do to unwind after a day of working?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I go home from work and I immediately like make dinner, take care of Penelope, and then I do chores after she is in bed.
That's not unwinding.
Well, hold on, and then I get like 1 to 2 hours to myself. So if I'm very tired, I just like sit still and like fart around on my phone and not do anything, which is a bad habit, and I'm trying to get out of and I'm trying to break it. But typically, I will listen to music. I will like go and just be like, what are some new things that are coming out, or what's an album that's good, or occasionally I like harassing my friends and being like, tell me about music. Like I will do that. had some good conversations with people about that. Although, like, I find listening to too much new music, like, a little bit, like, mentally taxing, because I can't just listen to music. I have to, like, analyze it and, like, compare it to other artists and, like, put it in its contextual place, because I care way too much about it. So occasionally, if I'm burned out on that, I'll just sit there and listen to Pink Floyd for, like, 3 hours.
Nice. That's not good. That's not a bad way to do it.
So, just music I know and enjoy.
I typically will. I actually just like being productive around the house as much as I can.
Like house clean.
Yeah.
Oh man, you listen to some podcasts and getting into all the crevices in your bathroom?
Yeah, like I'll throw on something that I don't
shit's
have to, like a
good.
TV show or something that I don't have to pay attention to. Right now I'm going through all of Bob's Burgers. I'm on like season 5, which I didn't know it had 5 seasons, but it's been going on for a while. And just do like house related stuff. I also have a tendency to I like to brew stuff on Magic Online and do like funky things and like listen to a like an ASMR video or something like that. It's very calming. But yeah, it's like, I don't know. I play video games for a living, but it also, like, playing a video game soothes me. But I'll typically play one that I don't play on stream, like WoW, or last night I stayed up way too late playing Battle Right, which was kind of neat.
And I mean, we've talked about that before, is that, like, because I do play video games to relax.
Yeah.
But the experience of playing video games just for yourself and playing video games on stream is quite different. You know, they're both fun, but in different ways. And so I find that despite the fact that I do play video games a lot at work, I find going home, I still am interested in playing video games, but it's just sort of a slightly different feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, get 2 episodes of Limited Resources, or the History of English podcast, which is so interesting. Oh, it's so good. Do you want to learn about how we have names for colors?
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool.
It's so interesting. I love it. And then just like really clean a bathroom.
Yeah, I listen to a lot of my podcasts, like listening stuff too, is obviously either like Mabim Bam, something like that. I also like to throw, because I'm a huge, I haven't talked about it enough, I throw on a lot of WoW lore videos. I really like knowing all about all that kind of stuff, because the Warcraft universe is my thing.
Yeah,
it's my jam. They Metzen did a very good job writing that world, yeah, it's fun. Actually, a good recommendation for things. I mean, you kind of have to pay it, like you have to watch it a little bit, but going through the Drawfee backlog, it's a very funny concept.
That's a fun show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I do not think we have any plans to visit cons or GPs in and around the Florida area. That's basically as far away from us as you can get.
While still remaining in the contiguous Americas.
Yeah. So unfortunately, as far as I know, there are no plans for any conventions in that area. It's kind of hard for us to get down there unless somebody is inviting us. So
yeah.
Sorry about that.
Somebody asked what era of Pink Floyd. No disrespect to Syd Barrett, but like the post Syd Barrett era is like Echoes is my second favorite album, and Dark Side of the Moon is the best Pink Floyd album. I've listened to them all, and I feel strongly about this.
Yeah, in terms of music, I also the whole year leading up to I have a folder of background music that I play as like musical stings and stuff like that. I curate that all year round, yeah, that's also like a soothing practice for me. It's a weird thing because like I've definitely integrated work in production into like my relaxing thing, like kind of cycle, which is like good and bad, because it means like I'm planning on like taking a week off coming up here, but I'll still be coming into the office to do like my streams and stuff like that here. So it's just like, I don't know.
I should take a weekend off.
I realized that besides like when I went to Toronto to visit family for Christmas, which is not a relaxation thing. Visiting relatives isn't relaxing. I haven't actually like taken like a week off since like I started like doing all this and moved out here. So like
So is the problem with the self-employedness? There's no reason. It's like, well, I guess I could just be working on something
exactly.
now.
Yeah, all the time, right? Somebody asked me in a stream that I was doing, like, what are you doing tonight after this? And I was like, well, probably like updating X kind of thing, and like and putting together like a highlight reel and stuff like that. And they were just like, don't you like relax it? And then I'm like, no, I turn off my computer and then I go to bed after I'm done working. So,
when it comes to being invited to a convention, I think they meant, what goes into that consideration? Assuming they pay for travel and rooms.
If you're going to pay for our travel and rooms, then we're probably there, but it's just getting people to pay for our flights because
it's
so expensive.
Combination of travel and rooms, and then obviously when it is and which members of Loading Bay Run are interested in going. Obviously if it's like in the middle of November, we're probably not going to go to your convention.
Even if you're paying us to come, like if you're paying to fly us out there and it's in Hawaii, it would just be sad.
I imagine there'd have to be like a certain amount of things that we're doing, right? Like we wouldn't fly to a convention to do like a panel.
No.
With like no band land table or anything like that.
Yeah, and obviously if we can sell merch and stuff, or at least have like a table where we can meet people and all things, that's a consideration. And if it's a convention that if we think there will be a good chunk of overlapping interest, it happens less often. But for a while, there are quite a few sort of anime conventions that were, we sort of were talking to a little bit about, and there is. Obviously there's an overlap in audience between anime and us, but it's
like,
not
we're not a
that
good
big.
fit for an anime convention is the problem.
Well, and there's a lot of people at anime, and it was just kind of, we often ended up in kind of a weird situation where it was like, you could see this like amazing voice actor from your favorite anime, or some people from the internet that you don't know.
Yeah, like my Beej, Ian, and myself have been doing OdaFest in Calgary for like the past 5 years.
As Synaptic Chaos.
As Synaptic Chaos Theater.
Yeah.
Because they've always just been like, yep, we'll pay for your room, you fly out, put on like 4 or 5 shows, and then just like come out and have, and it's become actually like a little bit of a vacation weekend. Like I think last year when I went, OdaFest is an awesome convention, by the way. If you're near Calgary, you should definitely go check it out. They do a really good job. But I did like the shows that we were on, and then I went back to my room and I did fucking nothing. I played Midgo for like maybe like 5 hours one day, or like we went on like we like walked around Calgary and stuff like that. But like I didn't like do any actual like convention-y type stuff besides like the panels, and it was super cool. And that's why we end up doing it every year. It's kind of just like a nice little vacation-y type things for us. But it's the anime crowd and the LRR crowd aren't necessarily overlapping like you said.
Yeah,
we all
there's certainly overlap, but it's not. Yeah, it is slightly different.
Yeah, like the thing with like Synaptic Chaos Theaters, you guys are there to do improv. Loading Ready Run as a group is not an improv group, right? Because we have many talented members who don't do improv.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't think I'm busting a secret to say Cam does not particularly like enjoy doing like full-on like super performative, like he's not like he doesn't improv or is bad at it, but he's like
he prefers not to.
Yeah. So, you're not going to get in Loading Ready Run to do like a big improv thing.
Yeah.
So
out of all the characters you have portrayed, which one would you prefer to live a day as? Almost none.
Me in live, or me in Chessel so far.
Yeah.
People having fun and doing good things it's not generally a funny thing to make a sketch out of. So
life is great.
Most of the characters in our videos do not end up very well.
I think I have 2 characters that I played that come to mind. Because I obviously haven't been around as long as that long, right? And the first is Bacon Rutherford or Ruthersworth.
He seems so sad though. He just
Yeah,
wants to
exactly.
fuck a robot.
Yeah, he just wants to fuck a robot. And then the other is, which was a one-off character, but you still probably remember, is the Mighty Drill Bee. When we made the monsters
Yeah.
thing,
Oh.
who was
you
technically
got all
dead.
You got all this green stuff, and then you're like, oh, we're filming something.
Yeah,
green
except we-
screen.
I mean, I
That
guess
was the
we probably
funniest.
don't have any of this stuff anymore.
No,
No, I think we recycled it. I don't know. I don't really want to kill all those people that Caden Crowthorne kill. Yeah, I don't know. Actually, yeah, I would want to go live a day in Innsbruck as a core playing character because, like, all the characters I play, like Edith seems like she's just living her best life. You know, she's monotone, but her heart is a rainbow, right? Like she's got a dour tone of voice, but yeah, she's DTF and having fun with her life.
Right, there was that one character, the one you wrote me as, the erotic. What was his name?
Oh, the
erotic novel
fan
writer.
fiction, right?
Oh yeah.
The guy who wrote that was like one of the first things you ever did for us.
Yeah, I cannot remember.
We're
what
like
his
a
name
guy who people don't know who he is. Let's quickly put him in a thing.
was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nigel
seems like
Fitzgerald Brewer actually could be kind of interesting. I don't know what the world that he lives in is that people allow him to do presentations that are clearly not right. Or more terrifying, his presentations are correct in the world that he lives in, which is a whole other thing. But I mean, the idea of being a like presenter like that, I think would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Ideally, you'd be giving out advice or giving out information that is correct and not just made up.
Yeah. I just want to go to Innsbruck. Like I'm doubling down on Innsbruck because we've sort of specifically like written that show. So Innsbruck, despite the fact that it's small and insane, is that people are very happy. Like the problems they have are like the minute problems that come from nothing being terribly wrong. Like they got a healthy intercity rivalry that keeps them riled up, you know. But like it's just like it's despite that everybody is insane. It's just I think it would be a nice place to live, and I want to keep it that way. So yeah,
It's got that like small town kind of.
but not
homey-
too small.
Yeah.
Not like gossipy.
I know it's not
Having lived in real small towns, they're very gossipy, and like if you're not in the right crowd, it's like very difficult.
I know it's not a character, but I think like my favorite one of my favorite crap shots is actually the one of you, where you and Graham are watching a Pamu ad, and then you're like, I want to do an ad like that, and then you just could go fuck yourselves,
Like that with
like the
pigtails.
Lolita sort of outfit. It's very, very good.
Yeah, that's my wrestling.
But I know that's
character.
just kind of like your Kathleen character
Yeah.
kind of a thing. So.
Yeah, I argue that's the world we live in currently.
As long as you don't live in East Sump Acres. I just think East Sump Acres is below the water table. I think is the Sump Acres. I think the closest analog to Innsbruck is like the Bob Newhart show.
Mm-hmm.
If you've ever seen any of the Bob Newhart show.
So, yeah, I'm sure I did see question, and I think somebody brought it up last night too. Somebody was asking why if I play Magic other times, even though I don't play it on stream.
Right. Yeah.
And just to quickly answer that, I mean, I have played Magic in the past, and I do play Magic occasionally, and I certainly enjoy the thing, but I find that the competitive aspect of Magic, there was a joke in Friday Nights a long time, like I think it was the original run of Friday Nights, where my character, Paul the character, goes, I found out that I'm both a poor winner and a poor loser.
Yeah.
And to be honest, that's a little bit true. Like I find that when I play, if I totally cream my opponent, I feel kind of bad about it. And if I'm getting totally creamed by my opponent, I also like the number of games of Magic that I play where I'm like happy with how the game went. I find is actually relatively small, just because of that happens. Like you notice, like for like crossing the streams, I always like to play on the games where we're playing like cooperative games.
Yeah,
or stuff.
as opposed to fighting each other.
That's just sort of like how I like to interact with people, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, working together, like cooperative games are, I think, a bit more enjoyable in those regards. Like, I loved watching you and James play Human Fall Flat. It's such a goofy game.
I would like to play that again if I thought James would at all be into play. He was so done on that game.
Oh, really? He was not happy? Oh, man.
He's like, I like this game, but it frustrates me so much.
Do you have like a favorite crap shot or anything like that you've ever done or been in?
I don't remember them.
No.
Like, I'm sorry.
Things
like,
just sort of fade out.
The hamster wheel of life keeps turning.
Yeah.
And my brain is. I have all of the space in my brain is dedicated to remembering riffs from songs.
Yeah. No, I mean that. Yeah. Like, it kind of falls into that thing of like whenever like the quote function.
Yeah. It's like,
I
whoa,
don't. When the shit did I say that?
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Why would I say that? That's terrible.
It's true. Arch Enemy is fun. I've played Arch Enemy a few times.
Yeah,
You just sort of giggle to yourself.
it's
The best part about Arch Enemy when you're playing the Arch Enemy is that the style that the cards are all written in are like the Arch Enemy schemes are all like, now witness my true power. Like they're all like demand to be read in like a extremely over the top kind of evil voice. I love it.
Oh yeah, we should play Arch Enemy. That would be fun.
we have the Nicol Bolas one in the backlog.
Ooh,
but
nice.
Fortunately, we've not run out of Magic things to do.
No.
So we've always the AFK backlog is the one that like I'm currently trying to like.
Somebody
work through
messaged
and
me and
stuff.
they're like, "Can I send you some games from our collection?" Speaking of the AFK backlog, you can send us games. We have no guarantee we'll play them, and the problem is our backlog is absolutely enormous. And we've discovered that I think testing. I think like there's a.
I'm so glad. Yeah, we should talk about this because you and I have talked about this a number of times.
There's a line where the game is too complicated to stream well. Not that the game is not good.
Yeah, the Venn diagram of good games and good games to stream.
Yeah.
Does not necessarily, doesn't fully overlap.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah, if the game is super complicated, it can still be a really good game, but it's hard to follow if you're not in the room because you're only seeing like a top-down version of the board and like all the pieces are little and sometimes there's hidden information in players' hands, so it's hard to like keep track of things. So like, I fall off a lot of AFK streams because of the complexity. Yeah. So we're trying to thread that needle, I think, a little bit better between games that like are fun and interesting and new and that also look like are also easy for you to follow at home on stream. Because like Spirit Island. I thought Spirit Island is great.
Awesome,
but it was just getting to a little bit like there was so much stuff to keep track of that it was like hard to follow what we were doing.
Yeah. So like for those of you guys who don't know, I kind of took the reins on like leading AFK and like I'm typically the one who's picking the games and whatnot now, and like Kathleen's already pretty much nailed it. Like the line is kind of hard to find. Like even a game that kind of like doesn't have a lot going on the table, like Ilmat, for example, was one of those ones that's like super fun game, super well made game, very interesting and stuff like that. Does not stream well, right? But
I think it's just the graphic design.
Yeah.
Is striking in person and hard to read on an overlay. Also like black on white on a black table.
Yeah. Right, whereas games like Betrayal or Dice Forge stream really well because games where everything is laid out on the table, you guys can see everything, work really well. And
Ticket to Ride.
Yeah, Ticket to Ride is probably the best one, honestly, because it's so basic. It needs to be one of those ones where even if you come in halfway through the stream, there is some potential for you to understand what is going on. Space Hulk actually not that bad either for streaming.
Yeah.
Space Hulk is complicated, but most of the complexity is that just like stuff that the players have to get. The people watching I think, can still really enjoy it, even if they don't know the minutia of how whatever their heavy bolter works.
Yeah. You know what? You know what game's streamed really well that we should play again, but it's hard to round up enough people to do it. Is Mangaka, the comic drawing game.
Yeah.
That was
Did
a
it
good.
go well?
Yeah, it was honest. Like I didn't see the second one we did because I was like doing something else. But like, and Red Dragon Inn. That's one of your favorite games.
Yep.
That streams well. So does like Arcadia Quest. Like
Arcadia Quest is starting to get in the.
a little complicated.
It's like that's honestly that like that's one of the reasons why we've streamed like say like Hero Quest a lot. Is that like Hero Quest is a fun game, but I think anybody who's watched a bunch of the streams, like there are definite limits to sort of it's complex, like it's not that complicated, and it's kind of once the player characters sort of know how it goes, the complexity of like it can be kind of, I guess, sort of solved.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, like
But it's sort of starting to get right into that nice area of like interesting stuff happening, but not too complex to just sort of come in and watch.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of the similar games that are sort of the like D&D ish sort of dungeon crawly games can get really complicated.
Yeah, the line kind of, I think one of the easiest ways that I've found to identify that line is how many times during the stream does it get like dead silent because people have to go into the tank and think about their play, right? Because as cool as it is to watch somebody, you know, work out lines and all that kind of jazz, we decided when we sat down and talked about AFK that this isn't a we teach somebody how to play board game stream, as it is this is an entertaining stream where we play board games. And so games like Mysterium, where the rules are like, it kind of involves a lot of people talking all the time and whatnot, those games stream really well. Whereas I'm not going to continuously harp on Ilmat, but like Ilmat's a great example where people will stop, right? And you'll stop and you'll think about what you're going to do and what your next kind of play needs to be and all that kind of jazz. And dead air is always like the bait, and it's not necessarily a bad thing all the time.
You know what games was really good that we streamed? The dice must flow. Because once we figured out how to play
the Dune game.
The Dune game, there was a lot of like, well, what if you put your dudes here? Well, there's like that little negotiation, like anything where the players can sort of get involved above the rules in a mechanical level.
Yeah.
Viking Secret Wildcard Poker would never, ever. The whole point of Viking Secret, the joke of that game is that it is the most complicated possible game that nobody understands.
Yeah.
It is exactly the worst kind of
Calvin
game.
Ball the game. But like Crokinole, it's so simple and straightforward, right?
Yeah.
And it streams great because you're like, they got the thing in the thing. You can come in halfway through, look at the scores, and be like, I'm going to root for the team that's behind, or go Team New Zealand.
Yeah. It's not to say that silence is bad. Like, don't get me wrong there. It's when
When it goes on for too long.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And finally, the last thing is, I'm not gonna make a blanket sweeping statement. But if you send us in, if we have a game, or you send us in a game that is like direct reference to like an anime or something like that, it makes it doesn't always work as well, I've found. Like they're fine games, but a lot of the time they're trying to be like very true to like the anime or whatever, and because they're using all these referential kind of things, the gameplay itself suffers for it. Like they're like, how can we make so and so character super cool? We'll do this, and this, and then like they kind of throw balancing and all that kind of jazz on the wayside. Not to say they're bad games or we didn't have fun playing them. They just don't come together as well, I guess. And also like if we've got the Naruto game, right? Like if you don't know what Naruto is and you've never watched Naruto or anything like that,
You're 2 levels removed from enjoying the stream.
exactly. You don't know how to play the game and you don't know the reference, so it's like what do you have to deal with this game kind of thing, right?
Sorry for like turning it into like board games.
No. I mean that I think that's what these kind of this kind of thing's for.
Yeah. So like, don't like if you want to like send us games or give us game suggestions, we will take them, but there's no guarantee that we will play the game because we have a huge backlog and we're trying to like really focus in on what makes the best streaming experience for you at home.
We should probably finish up now, but the rise talking about just using Bluetooth for wireless mic purposes. As far as I know, there is no good way of doing that at the moment. Bluetooth doesn't have the oomph to. For one thing, the number of things that you can have connected to a Bluetooth connection is very low, and also if you have ever used Bluetooth headphones, for one thing, there's a lot of issues with like latency and just them not working when you're like this far away. So theoretically, there's something there, but as far as I know, there isn't. I'm sure there's new tech coming out all the time.
Thunder Voice 1 has posted this a lot, and then I'm going to answer in 10 seconds. Kathleen, what is your favorite Now Kiss game? Without hesitation, it's been Lady Killer in a Bind. One of the best games I've played in a couple years.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's great.
Sweet.
I haven't seen any of the sex scenes. Because you can skip them.
Well, then you can go back and play it then.
At home, not with Beige.
Yeah. After that's what you do with it in the 2 hours at night or whatever. All right, so we have, as we said, as we teased, we have a stream highlight reel that we're going to show you. But before we do that, we thought we'd do the sub welcomes and stuff.
Bless you.
Excuse me.
Kathleen explodes.
Yeah.
So, thank you everybody.
This was fun.
And sorry if you asked questions. I know there are lots of questions going by. But thank you everybody for doing it, and this was a lot of fun, and I'm sure we will be doing it again, probably with a different group of people.
I was like, are we going to be able to fill an hour? And then it turned into a 2-hour thing, so I'm glad.
I've been doing this for 13 years, or however long we've been doing it. Going too long is never, ever a problem.
Yeah, no kidding.
Okay. So let's look at, let's thank all the wonderful people who subscribed during the stream. Starting with DarkForge23, who is a new subscriber. Welcome, DarkForge. And Ben.
Here, you read it.
Me! You're the best, guy.
And the Green Monster 450 for 15 months. Thank you.
Agent Magic Master for 51 months. Bonus lure.
Historical Custodian for 3 months. Welcome back, and thank you so much.
And Lord Crusher for 30 months says, happy about the early stream given how tired I am. You were just at a conference learning space things.
Dallas the DJ for 4 months.
JS1813 for 14 months. That is a lot of numbers. Thank you so much.
And the Procrastronauts, what a great username. 36 months says 3 years, that's almost, etc., etc.
Doom Limit for 35 months. We have not reached the Doom Limit.
Hey, Wabbajack for 6 months saying a lure Yule log would be awesome. Howdy, folks.
And May We Come In for 11 months says momentum is happening.
Chismo for 3 months. 3 months. Whoop, whoop. Ben face.
Cador1 for 8 months saying, woo, 8 month of being able to support my favorite comedians. Thank you so much, Cador.
And Pterodactyl for 8 months says, do any day now, what should I name it? How about Pterodactyl? Junior.
Dinufkozim is a new subscriber. Welcome.
Cariusis is a brand new subscriber, gifted by Argentaria. Thank you very much.
Rank Nullity is a new subscriber. Thanks for seeing this and being like, yeah, I want to join this club.
Argyle Janner for 2 months. Just watch Graham Beach running at PAX. I'm sending some jogging pants for mail time.
God, send them in a tiny size so I get some sweatpants.
Casual King 21 is a brand new subscriber. Welcome. Thank you so much.
Matrix Knight 88 for 4 months says, yay, 4 months of lure. Do you know that the Chinese word for the number 4 is a homophone for the Chinese word for death? There's a whole thing about it in this part of the world.
Photosynthesis for 2 months saying, woo, 2 months.
Pygmy Worm for 18 months says, woo, 18 months.
Rightel for 23 months. 23 months, the majority of this has been Amazon's money. Yay!
Yay! Malbeam for 21 months saying, let's A some Qs.
Yeah. And Null Cola Ship has subscribed for 19 months, says, Dear Dr. Lur, what is the appropriate meme for a 19-month resub? No meme. Play that one straight.
Solons181 is been gifted by Argentaria.
Riandiza for 2 months, gifted by Argentaria as well. Thank you so much.
And Delphi Santano for 37 months in a row.
Floataway 3 for 3 months.
Rantling for 36 months. Happy 3 years, saying, do you think this was a good stream to resub during? I do.
Critical Mediocrity has been here for 7 months. Hooray!
Shot Rob for 23 months.
Lollet91 is a brand new subscriber. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
And Hot Liquid Jello for 32 months in a row. Thanks, Rock Pusher, for that gifted sub.
Quiet Quandary for 15 months.
Miniwack for 34 months saying, I'm late to the party, gonna have to catch up in the VOD. Woo! At nearly 3 years. Thank you so much, Miniwack.
And Jigo Kuro for 23 months. Thank you.
Oh man, these emotes.
The Dead Virgin for 14 months. Oh, hey, I have a something again. Sup, fellow nerds.
Sup?
We're nerding.
Stage Manager Rob for 4 months saying, snowy day in April. Must be a Twitch anniversary. Thank you so much.
Matt Andre for 41 says, hey, it's the big 4-0.
Amantol is a new subscriber. Welcome.
Predmid. Predmid. There we go. For 41 months, welcome back.
Hibernalis for 2 months says, love from France. Hey,
Hey.
love back at France.
Sir Garrett Cameron for 19 months. Oh, hey, button.
KDZ00 for a year.
Lost Luck 42 for 4 months. Are we doing this?
Lady Pluto is a new subscriber
just
from
scanned perfectly.
Argentaria.
Forlorn Hope 22 for 18 months. At the wire.
Flame E7 for 2 months. Because of my fish ore.
Yay.
Tempest 2097 for 4 months.
Zed previously headache for 3 months. Get to buy Fisher.
Pyromorph for 33 months says, oh, right.
We found the wire.
Detrodono for 23 months.
And thank you so much for the 2,899 bits from Rytel Earthen One, Rock Pusher, Kamote Top, Wabbajack Gaxness, Clenched Eastwood, Rio Pezio, Squeamish Guy, and Thunder Voice 1. Thank you very, very much, everybody, for tuning in. This was awesome.
It was very fun.
This was a soothing Saturday.
And,
And now,
well, coming out.
oh, yeah. Yeah, I was just going to say, but don't go away entirely, because we're at 6 p.m. I'm going to inflict some music on you.
In an hour.
Kathleen's Brave New Faves.
One, listen to tunes.
Good is in quotations, not because I think it's bad, but just because, your mileage may vary.
Yeah.
I think they're good.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah.
And then we got Rhythm Cafe going on Sunday.
Solo Ian, right?
Yeah, Heather's out of town, but Ian's going to be playing some Rocksmith. And then on Monday, we got Checkpoint, and that should be...
Me and Paul doing something.
We'll be doing... We'll probably just be chatting about video game type stuff, news things. And then we got the conclusion
Yay!
of Murder on the Samola Plateau.
We know.
Will a murder happen?
I mean, the murder
It
happened.
already done happened.
A murder occurred.
I mean, spoiler. I guess the name of the show is the spoiler.
We got a pretty good idea of what happened with the murder.
There's not going to be a murder.
Yeah, and I'm maybe going to get out of jail.
Yeah.
We're definitely getting you out of jail.
Yeah.
Getting out of jail on Samola Plateau is super easy.
Yeah.
Our group did it like 5 times.
Yeah.
And then on Tuesday, we've got New Day Tuesday with Extinction. Corey is going to be coming in to do that game, so I don't actually know anything about it.
Me either.
but I'm sure it will be awesome. So, and then what else is on Tuesday? Oh yeah, one more, of course. Got one more, and then oh right, we have Talking Simulator.
Moving to Tuesdays.
Moving to Tuesdays. I believe this is the first Tuesday it's going to be on.
Yes.
So, Talking Simulator, moving to Tuesdays. So make sure you remember that. And so when you tune in on Tuesday, instead of seeing Tinker Tailor Solder Fry, it'll be Talking Simulator.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And we did also promise that we would show you the stream highlights.
But we lied. The
No.
stream's
Yeah.
over. Goodbye.
No.
And
I spent so long editing them.
yeah, Kathleen
I
was
haven't edited
editing
them in
this.
like a few, like probably like 2 months because you've been doing it. So I
Yeah.
was just like, oh my god, it takes so long to watch every single clip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
Kathleen was editing this right up to it was exporting while we were doing the thing.
The first
so,
half, yeah.
And because we wanted to, because like we'll be doing Loading Ready Live in 2 weeks, but we didn't want to have to do like a whole month worth of stream highlights for the Loading Ready Live.
Have you ever done a stream highlights where you got like 200 clips to go through?
No. I think
Oh.
the most I've had to go through is like 100 and some.
I did 120 today. That's why it took
Yeah.
so long. It
Yeah.
takes a long time. So we didn't want to. It was invariably. Ben and I decided that we didn't want to deal with this 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, we're
It's
dealing with like
self-preservation.
the half an hour long stream highlights.
Yeah,
Oh.
It's more so like the tough part about it is the fact that it's like everybody's clipping parts that they like, right? And then the mods clip it and stuff. And then it's just like we want to try and get your favorite moment in the highlights. All the
Yeah,
time,
but
it's
like
just,
sometimes highlights don't play if they're like a minute long.
That's true. Yeah, that's after vetting it though. But
Yeah,
it's true.
and then you need to like make sure that there's like lots of clips of like everybody in there, and then you've got to like go through, and then you've got to like reorganize them so it's not 3 James clips in a row.
Yeah.
It's just we have to stop being less. We have to be less entertaining
Yeah.
on streams.
Oh yeah, that would make my life way easier if I could do that.
So that the stream highlights will be like one funny thing that that when Ben and Alex got scared,
Yeah.
and then that'll be it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll just be them be like, ah!
There's some pretty good.
I do kind of want to take a look and see if there's like if we could do like a supercut of just like
Alex screaming.
and me like
There's
screaming,
some
like
really
I'm
getting
sure-
scared of things.
There's like because of how things turned out. There's like no Let's Nope clips that I saw.
Yeah.
Like maybe there's only like no, I don't think there's any, but like there's some very funny stuff from Alex.
That's-
They're still screaming.
That's true. As we mentioned,
'cause it was watch and play.
as we mentioned that, yes, please, if you are using the Clippy thing, make sure you name your clips, and you also like actually clip the part that is interesting to you. That helps out our the editing process a lot.
Yeah.
It helps our mods who work really fucking hard.
Yeah. Shout out to the mods.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right,
My favorite part with the screaming is like there'll be like lots of stuff with like you or Alex screaming or whatever, but then there'll be like you guys just sitting there and somebody else walks into the streaming office and is like, ah! Anyway,
All right, now let's watch this stuff that we've been talking about.
let's watch these and we will go offline, but Kathleen will be back in just under an hour.
Peace, y'all.
Bye.
Wasn't briefed on what this bit is.
Hi. Welcome back to Magic Time. Why do you keep leaving?
Video games.
Damn it!
Oh, fuck. Damn it, James! Why?
Okay, push the damn button.
Great.
Good job. I think I accidentally a bomb.
Accidentally a bomb, huh?
Yeah, accidentally a bomb.
RuneScape is finally wrapping up a 13-year-long quest arc. I mean, basically, yeah.
Can we get to 99? Do we want to?
99 bottles of beer on the weeb.
Oh wow, look at that. Talking about phallic before. That's a crooked dick.
We're playing this in the world, the continent of Chult in the Forgotten Realms, using a mildly modified version of the 5th edition D&D rules, and by mildly modified, I mean whenever I make a mistake, that's a house rule.
It just plays on top of itself now.
They lied to me! They said it would stop!
Oh, you never pushed the do not push button to stop the do not push button.
Hero No Academia, but with rhythm games. Attack on Titan, but with rhythm games.
Sorry, I'm trying to stay alive here, and you're very distracting.
Sailor Moon, but with rhythm games.
Ugh.
That was mute. No. That was my fault.
Scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, that was my fault.
Oh god.
That's a good fucking mood. I thought I'd try. The nerf to your speed is maybe not worth this item's buff.
Oh, I can definitely go down there. That's a secret.
If you just did a PET scan or a CAT scan of Bond's skull, it would just be like this mass of scar tissue, right? With this little like divot in it from the drill, because all Bond does is get blackout drunk, concussed, and syphilis. Those are the 3 things Bond gets.
Square head? What's that supposed to mean? They said I had a square head.
Who the fuck
It's right there in Twitch chat.
is talking shit
I don't think square head
about
is...
my boy? You say that shit to my
I
face.
don't think square head's supposed to be an insult.
These sunglasses make this game significantly harder.
Come to Papa.
Got him.
That's right.
All right, come on. 5.
I need a 5 or a 6.
Oh! Just push.
It's one of those breath-operated noisemakers.
All right, Razor, if you're listening, and I know you are.
I will mute you.
Hey, B, did you order some bullshit?
7 bullshits?
Yes.
Nah, I wanted 8.
So just don't ball lightning me. Pass. Ball lightning.
Did somebody say ball lightning?
Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do.
I asked very politely for
I must have misinterpreted.
Who's speaking? Over here, follow me. Oh my good God.
Whoa, that was very aggressive.
I'm playing red. Wow, that was very feline. Just like,
I'm sorry, is this yours?
Wait, that was my phone.
That's right. Let's go.
You can't fall that far. It's a fucking video game.
I think I just saw a digital avatar ask me to kill it.
so I need a 4 or 5 here.
Fucking hell! This guy!
Luck of the cat.
The cat!
Your job is to shoot all of the attackers before they kill you. You will get 3 lives.
Whoa, 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 whoa!
If the card is either in one of these 6 or this one,
You die.
I lose. A Johnny Vengeant.
Can you take over for a sec? Mm-hmm. Thanks.
Dude. See? See? All I'm saying is that when I move my chair, sit in this chair, or roll this chair, good things happen. There's an undead friend down here. Did one of you guys fall down? No, I'm just kidding. I know we all work like the living dead, but really, there's actually somebody. Hey, just hold on. I'm trying to talk to people.
I can do it. These are just the stairs to my apartment.
Do it.
Oh shit! Help! Go Aist!
Well, take your sign with you, I guess. I don't even know where the Quiznos is.
People are getting killed with our weapons.
That is our job, yeah.
But killed in the illegal sense of the word.
Intelligent smiles.
Oh, that seems nice.
Ow! All right.
Oh god! What the fuck?
You duped it.
Oh shit! Oh yes!
Oh, they fucking.
This is hot!
Oh,
This is hot!
1,300 people. Holy moly! Never had this many people watch me lose at Magic. Wait, that's not true. Game. No. Where am I going?
Chestnut mochi?
That bag is full of things.
What is the?
That's. Oh no! Wait, is that Mont Blanc?
Oh, can I spit it out?
Okay, here's the spit bag.
I'm just hearing Kathleen come from directly behind my head. Ah!
It was a mochi filled with pus.
Starmie.
I think I might actually be indestructible now because they can't get close enough to. Nope, never mind.
Do you play rhythm games at home at all?
Sometimes.
Do you play them when Ian's around? Yeah, okay, that was all the answer I needed.
This is a new character for the show. Ooh, bonus Starbucks cup.
Hi, I'm Star.
There was stuff in there. There's so many people. Oh my god.
That was over.
It was over me. Fuck you. That would have.
That would have absolutely
gone in there and shot her PC.
And me!